So he's saying that we're gonna land and then the paramedics are going to board the plane from the left side to help our passenger. And I'm thinking, how long was I asleep? Hey guys, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, don't forget to subscribe. I post a variety of content. I post some music related videos like Taylor Swift, lyric analyses or reviews. I also do story times or vlogs, just kind of like more personal stuff, but mostly I'm kind of like shifting more towards like the Taylor Swift stuff because that's what you guys want to see. But I did get a request recently to do another story time, which I haven't done in a while, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that today. This one feels kind of strange because it's like, to title this video like a man died on my airplane, but that's what happened. So it's like, I don't know, it just feels really sensationalized. I don't know, I just haven't done a story time in a while, so it feels like out of my comfort zone. I didn't write down any notes for this either because it's kind of a straightforward story, so hopefully I don't get like lost along the way. Quick disclaimer, I don't mean like any disrespect for the deceased. You actually will not be able to find this guy, like any kind of news articles, nothing was like written about this happening. The reason I thought of this story, this happened a while ago, but I thought of it because recently I saw in the news that a man died on an airplane with COVID, and that was kind of like my experience but on steroids, so I thought I would just tell this story to you guys. I also want to know if anyone has had this happen to them, because like once it happens to you, you're kind of like, wait a second, how common is this? But let's just get into the story. Like I said, you will not be able to find this guy's identity anywhere. I've tried because I'm morbidly curious. So a little bit of backstory. As some of you guys may know, my mom is from Ukraine, so I have a lot of family there. The last time I visited was actually the time that this happened. So this was in 2012, I think it was the day before Halloween. I'm not kidding you. You can't make this up. The reason we were going in October in the middle of the school year when I was 13 years old and in 8th grade was because my grandfather had suffered a heart attack, and he's had like, I think we've lost count at this point. He's a very stereotypical Russian man. The heart attacks just don't get him down, you know? Like most people are kind of one and done, but I feel like the number's up to 4 or 5. Anyway, so he had a heart attack. We were concerned, so we decided we were going to go take care of him. And if you are unaware, Ukraine's kind of just not like how things are in other places. At the hospital, they don't have a cafeteria, so you have to have someone there who can bring you food and like just to have someone to visit you, and like, I don't know, we just wanted to go take care of him, make sure he was okay until he was able to come home because he lives alone. So we flew down there the day before Halloween, and it takes a few flights to get to Ukraine. So we flew from Tulsa to Dallas, and then this was the flight from Dallas to Frankfurt or Munich. I can't remember which town in Germany, one of those, but it's a very long overseas flight, and we ended up getting upgraded to first class seats. This also sounds insane. The price of those first class overseas flights, they're insane. They're nothing that I would ever be able to afford any other time in my life. This was probably the only experience I'll ever have flying first class overseas. Like you're in a bed essentially while people in coach. I've flown coach many times overseas. Not fun. So we're in these first class seats, my mom and I, and they're bringing us all this food. We have like a 5-course meal that we're eating. Like this was before we were plant-based, so we're eating like shrimp, we're eating like ice cream, and it was good. Like airplane food, most of the time you don't want to put it in your mouth. But so we're eating this 5-course meal, and of course I'm like, I can sleep on this flight. Like I can sleep on this flight. So I take my contacts off and put them in like these little like paper cups because I didn't have a case with me because I'm stupid, I guess. So I put my contacts in these little paper cups. This is important for later because I was not able to put my contacts back in. Just keep this in mind. And I lay my chair bed all the way back. I'm living. I'm thriving. I fall asleep, obviously, because what else are you gonna do? I'm pretty sure this was like an overnight flight. Like it's very long, and I think it was happening through the middle of the night. And I assume my mom falls asleep. I think she did for a while. She's a very light sleeper though. So I'm sleeping good. I'm sleeping hard, full of shrimp, full of ice cream, just passed out in this first class seat, living, just living. Eventually, I'm in a deep sleep. Of course, all the important stuff happens while I'm asleep. That's just how my life works. And soon enough, I have a flight attendant tapping on my seat, and she's like, we're about to land, like you're gonna need to put your seat up because we're about to land. Like it's not safe to have it reclined. And so I put it up, and I'm a little confused already because I know time is weird when you sleep, but I'm like, this seems a little fast. Also, I forgot to revisit this part, of course, but when I tried to put my contacts back in, I realized that all of the solution had like dried and leaked out the bottom. I hate that my mom made me take my contacts out this day. Like I could have just slept in them. But anyway, so I'm not able to put my contacts back in, meaning not only have I just woken up and I'm disoriented, but I cannot see. Like it's the Holy Trinity. And then I look at the map that's on the screen in front of me and realize that we're not anywhere near Germany. we're near Iceland, and so we're about to land, I guess, and I'm like, why are we landing in Iceland? I'm just so confused, and I'm sitting there, and my mom is not next to me. She's not in her seat, and I'm waiting for her to come back from the bathroom, and I'm like, okay, maybe the shrimp isn't agreeing with her. And so I wait, and I'm like, all right, something is going on. And so then I hear the captain say over the intercom, we're about to land in Iceland. I think it was, I don't know how to pronounce it, Reykjavik or something. I think it was the capital of Iceland we were in, I'm pretty sure. So he's saying that we're gonna land, and then the paramedics are going to board the plane from the left side to help our passenger. And I'm thinking, how long was I asleep? I'm 13 years old. How long was I asleep? Where is my mom? This was a huge concern of mine because I knew my mom was stressed out, like with my grandfather. She kept complaining that like her heart was not, like she felt like her heart was skipping a beat at times. I think she was taking even some kind of like heart medication or some kind of like, not like medication, but I feel like she had some kind of something to soothe her stress or anxiety. She was not feeling good. So do you see where I'm going with this? I'm piecing the puzzle together. She's still not coming back. We're about to land, and then I just eventually just bite the bullet and I ask the flight attendant, like, hey, where is my mom? What is going on? Why are we landing? And then she tells me that my mom is back there doing CPR. She's doing CPR on someone. And I'm like, okay. And then the flight attendant says, yeah, this guy, he was just back there in like business class, and suddenly he was just no more. Guys, I am so sorry that I am the way that I am. No more. Like, Nicole. And so my mom is literally she was not the only medical professional who volunteered. There was also a guy who I think was a retired EMT. I think there might have been a pediatric surgeon. There were like a few different people who had volunteered. So they're all doing CPR on this man in the middle of an airplane aisle as the plane is landing. Like they had cleared out, they had like some empty seats. That was why, that was how we were able to get first class, but there were a lot of empty seats on this plane. So they cleared out a space around so they could get down there and start pumping. So my mom is working with this whole team. The flight attendants brought out like, they have like emergency equipment and stuff, but nobody wants to administer like medication or anything because that's like a liability. So they were only able to really do CPR. They had I think it's an EKG. Is it an EKG? I don't think it is. The thing that restarts your heart, but it was advising not to do so. So they're just, once you start CPR, you can't stop. So they're just pumping and pumping. This plane is landing. It's like, it's kind of nerve wracking, honestly, to think about, because if it was a rough landing, like you're gonna be tossed around. So we land, and then this whole team of Icelandic paramedics are getting on board in these huge orange winter puffy like fur lined coats. These were the biggest men I've ever seen in my life, and I'm not tiny. I'm 5'10", and I've been 5'10" since I was around this age. So they're getting on. I'm still waking up, but this is what you have to realize. And so they're coming on board and they start doing CPR because I guess because of the liability issue, nobody who volunteered could proclaim this man dead. So once they start CPR, they have to continue until somebody arrives who can either help him further or proclaim him dead. So they start doing CPR as well, and eventually they do proclaim him dead, and they wheeled him through my like section, because first class is first. They wheel him through on a stretcher in a body bag and they take him away. Like, even saying this sounds insane to me. Like, I was 13 years old in first class for the like only time ever in my life that I'll ever be able to. My mom finally comes back and she's winded. I guess I should tell what my mom thinks happened to this man. So a lot of the time on airplanes, he was traveling alone and there was no one like around with him. She said the person who was sitting next to him said that she heard him gasp, and then he was not okay after that. So my mom's theory is that he had a blood clot and it traveled to his heart or his lungs or his brain or something. Hopefully it wasn't painful. I just can't imagine dying on an airplane. It's so sad, honestly, and him being like, he was either, I think he might have been a German citizen or like American. He wasn't supposed to go to Iceland, you know what I mean? So they have to transport him back to wherever he's actually from, and he was all alone, and it's honestly really sad, but it's just so insane. Like, how does that happen? And I've tried to find anything written about this online, because how many times has an airplane landed in that specific town in Iceland needing help like that? So yeah, I couldn't find anything. If I had information, well, no, I probably wouldn't even do the story if I could find an article about it online. So yeah, that is the time that a man died on my airplane while I was in first class for the only time in my life, and my mother had to do CPR on him. This was actually a huge wake-up call for my mom and I, because we had kind of started making plans that once my grandfather was better, maybe he would come and visit us, but the thing is, he would have to be flying alone. Like, maybe my mom could meet him in Dallas or something and fly with him the last flight home, but she's not going to go overseas to like then fly again overseas. So the idea was that he would come alone, and after we had seen this happen, we decided decided that was not a good idea, and so we never made him do that. I don't know, this whole story is so much coincidences, honestly, but I'm really glad we didn't think that that was something we needed to do. I don't really know how to end this. I hope you guys enjoyed this wild tale. If you've had anything like this happen to you, please leave it down below so I feel less. This is just insane. Next week, I'm going to have a Taylor Swift Evermore review video coming. I did my analysis last week, but the review is like kind of my opinion more than my interpretation, and I hope you have an amazing day. I will see you guys next week. Bye, guys. I know that we would run away to an island in the sun where the palm